Hi, my name is Mashika, and I am coming to you to give you some information about autism. I now have an 8-year-old boy who is nonverbal and autistic. Now, I get a lot of people asking me several different questions about what is autism, what makes him autistic. So I'm here to answer some of those questions and to give some parents some information or um, just things that I do differently that will give them the opportunity to be treated and function normal as a regular little boy. Now, he is 8 years old, and we treat him like he's an 8-year-old boy. We don't treat him like he's autistic because that is one of the reasons why a lot of the children are not developing a lot of the skills that they need to or even want to, because you don't give them an opportunity to do that by treating them as if they're an autistic child. Now, there's so many different spectrums when it comes to autism. Um, I am going to read some information about autism that will, I guess, break it down. Excuse me. This weather is horrible because we got a lot of pollen. But autism spectrum disorder is a neurological and developmental disorder that begins early in a childhood and lasts throughout the person's life. And it affects how a person acts, interacts with others, communicates, and learns. It includes what used to be known as Asperger's syndromes and pervasive developmental disorders. It is called a spectrum because people use autism. No, because I'm sorry, because people with autism can have a range of symptoms. People with autism may have problems with talking with you, or they might not look you in the eye when you are talking to them. Let's see what else information they have. They also may have interest in repetitive behaviors. They may spend a lot of time putting things in order. Now, that right there, I'll give you some information about that. Or they may say same things or over and over and again. They may often seem to be in their own world. Now, when it comes to my son, and I only could give you information or give you um, a lot of information from what I went through. So by doing that, um, I've noticed that a lot of parents, with me talking to them, they're going through similar things, but didn't know how to deal with them. So when it says they may not look you in the eye, that is so true. Mark started off, but it wasn't when he was a baby. I think it was more so when he got around 1 or 2. When I noticed he never looked other people in the eye, but he would look at me. And it was just a little strange. I'm not going to say strange, but not common that I would see that. And that was one of the reasons why the doctors also stated that he may have autism. And the other thing that they mentioned was putting things in order. My son was obsessed with putting things in order. We would purchase him cars. He loved cars. Oh my goodness, he loved cars. The little Hot Wheels. It could be any kind of car, but he um, he would line them up We'll line them up, and at first he didn't line them up by colors, but the older he got, he started lining them by colors. I would walk into my living room, and it would be cars just lined up, and he would just be sitting there watching them. And I would say, "Hey, babe, put the shoes up. Babe, put your cars up." And he would just look at me, and he understood everything that I said, but I didn't push him to do that, so he just sat there. And then I would go in my bedroom, and across my bed would be cars. I have pictures. I mean, I'm gonna see if I can find that picture. Literally, cars lined up on my bed. And I started playing with him to see how he would react to moving the cars. So I would move one of the cars. He would get upset. He would line it back up. I would move another car. He wouldn't get too upset, but he would line it back up because he wanted to make sure it was in order. And the more that I started playing with him with the cars, the more he got out of the habit of lining them up. Now that's where I say you have to challenge them. They're routine children. They go they go by the book. They're very routine. And if I got him into the habit of continuing to line those cars up, I think he would be still lining those cars up right now. And he's 8. So it took me to challenge him. But also by challenging him, I had to go through a lot of the things that he would do afterwards. At that point, we didn't have any control over his behavior, so he would get very upset. Very upset. But that's when you challenge their emotions. And you pay attention to what triggers him. So he finally stopped lining the cars up, but playing with them, because he seen me playing with them. And I was so amazed because he understood everything that I was trying to do. It's just he was so accustomed to lining them up that he didn't know that you play with them. So you have to teach them the things that they need to do with the material that they're actually lining up. Challenge them. There's nothing wrong with challenging the children with autism. Another thing it said was, great. So another thing it said was, say sentences over and over again. So I did not experience that because my son is nonverbal. I do see children in his classroom that will repeat words. So I'm not really going to speak on that because I didn't live that life. Like I said, my son is nonverbal, and saying things over and over again, you most definitely have to be talking. So the other thing, seem like they're in their own world. I did live that life when it came to my son. I'm going to say his name now. His name is Mark. I told you in my last video I would introduce you to him. I will eventually, but you'll see more pictures of him than you would him personally. Right now, I just wanted to give you a background story on him, so when you do see how much of a difference he's made, or the changes, or the accomplishments, the milestones he's overcome, you will be amazed. He's going to shock you. So when it came to being in his own world, I would take him to the park. This is when I finally realized that he was autistic. I was like, let me challenge a couple of things. Let me find out some things because most definitely you look online to see what some symptoms of autism. You ask your questions to your doctor, and yes, Google is going to make you think that every child in this world is autistic. But some of the information is very valuable. So I would take him to the park. He would just stand there. He would look around and he would not play with any of the children, but he would just stand there. Now, we could be at the park for about 30 minutes and he'd be in the same little spot. So I would put him in the swing. He'll swing because I'm pushing him. I'm there with him. But as far as him playing with any other children, you know how the kids just be running around and sliding down the slide and just enjoying themselves. He did. He watched them. So we went to the park quite often. Again, at this point, I wanted to challenge him because I know he could accomplish anything. Anything that he wanted to do, he was able to accomplish it. And I'm not forcing him to, but I am going to challenge him. So I would go through the whole park with him. I would start at the swing. He would swing. He likes that. I would go down the slide. Sometimes I would even go down the slide first, so he'll see that it's okay. Because sometimes you have to let them know that it's okay. It's all right for you to do the things that they are doing, and you're going to be okay as well. As far as the child will be okay. So I'll slide down the slide, and then he will slide right behind me. And at that point, I'm like, okay, you are, or he may be, the child that has to see first and then do. So you have to find out your child. You have to know what is helpful for your child. This is my child, Mark. So you know how they have some of the parks, they have the at the little playground, the little car, the little steering wheel where you can drive, act like you're driving. And I would drive, and next thing you know, I walk off just to see if he will pay attention or he would try, and he did. He sat down and he tried to drive. And this was around 2, a lot of the things that I'm doing now. So at 2, I was challenging him because I didn't want him to be stuck in a routine. When you give them the opportunity or you allow them to be stuck in a routine and don't challenge them, that's how they're going to live their life. I wanted him, and I still want him, to understand that he's capable of doing anything. So I'll talk about a few things that I'm doing now. First when I started going to, we moved back about 8 years ago. When he was born, we came back home. An incident happened with his father, so we decided to come back home. But anyways, so we started going to this church called Gethsemane House of Prayer. Pastor Winfred Manise and Lady Carlotta. They are amazing. Woo! Gethsemane House of Prayer. I'll put their information down at the end. You most definitely need to come and try, or even just come to the service. They're amazing. Oh, they're amazing. He breaks it down to you to the point that you can understand, especially in today's world, when it comes to reading the Bible or preaching. He's more of a teacher, and I truly appreciate that. And our Bible study is not a normal Bible study. He gives you the opportunity to ask questions. So he will most definitely be up there teaching. But say, for instance, you have a question about your unbelief. and how do you overcome your unbelief. And the number one thing that he will most definitely say is pray. And when you pray, ask God to help you with your unbelief. I had to go through that stage of helping me with my unbelief, because I didn't think that I could do it. I can do it. And the changes that I was trying to make in his life, I didn't think they would work. So I started not really thinking it would work, just because of what other people was telling me, how he couldn't do this, or he's not capable of doing that. No, he's capable of doing what he needs to do. And I'm going to treat him as if he's a regular young man. So back to the subject of me changing routines and so forth. He would say, for instance, we're going home, leaving school. I stay around the corner from school. So it is nothing but he knows directions. He knows everywhere. Wherever you are, he knows. He pays so much attention to details. So he would I take a right out of the school. There's a crossing guard there. I take another right and a left, and we're on our street. So when it came to coming home, I took different routes. I wanted him not to get into a routine of going home the same way, but understand that there's going to be changes. Because every day in life, there's changes. It never works out the way you want it to. And you have to adapt to that. And by him being autistic and nonverbal, he needed to adapt to the changes of the world, because we're in the world. Although he's in his own world, he's still in this big world. So I started taking different routes. And at first he was like, no, mommy, no. This is not where we're going. This is not how we go home. But then he started paying attention. He understood that regardless of which way we're going to go home. And he became comfortable with it. Another thing that I started changing, food. When it comes to a lot of autistic children, and it's normal, any child, food. They may not like broccoli. They may not like spinach. Now, I can't say that for my child. When I was pregnant, I ate a lot of spinach. I ate a lot of vegetables. And he loves vegetables. But it can come to grits. It can be macaroni and cheese. Just different things. So he had got to the point that he would only eat certain things. Chicken, he'd eat pizza, corn, broccoli, eat all the vegetables. But I didn't want him to get stuck on eating just that. So I would cook something different. Or even if I cook chicken, I spice it up. It'll be lemon pepper chicken or barbecue chicken. I just wanted to get him to understand it's going to be different. There's different food out there. I just need you to taste it, try it. So I would cook different food, and he would not want to try it, but he'll sit at the table. So I would go throughout my day. He would go throughout his day, and he would get hungrier and hungrier. So he would sit at the table. Although I would give him small snacks, because I don't want him to be too hungry, that I know he would eat. But he would go sit at the table and taste it. So it's not that he didn't want to try it. It was just new to him. And even if you take a piece of it and give it to him, to let him know it's different and let him know it's okay for him to eat, or eat the same thing he's eating, he will try it. there's a lot of parents out there that allow their children to only eat certain things. You have to challenge them so they can overcome the only eating certain things. Chicken nuggets. I see a lot of parents just giving them chicken nuggets and they're okay with chicken nuggets. I eat chicken nuggets every day. No. Now, I'm not saying this may work for you with the autistic child, but I'm just giving you some information that worked for me. And Mark is more of a, I'm going to eat home cooked meals. I'd rather eat home cooked meals than out drive-thrus anyway, because he likes the seasoning. He loves the flavor of it. But you have to challenge them. And allow them to be normal. Because at the end of the day, like I said, each day will be different. It won't be the same. And the reason why I did that was because he was in a situation that there was change. And his reaction was thinking he's going home. It happened at school because they went to, I think, recess early. So after recess, he normally gets his book bag and go home. So a situation happened. I'll go into more details about that a little later. But even the teachers now are doing things different because they want him to understand that there's nothing going to be the same. They can have a fire drill. You don't have fire drills every day. They can change the time of art. And he has adapted to everything because we gave him the opportunity to be a young man and to understand there is going to be change. I'm going to give you some more information about a lot of things that I went through or going through. This was just a little small thing. My videos, I don't want them to be too long, so I am going to end this one, but I will go to part 2. Most definitely, if you have any questions about it, or I know with me opening up, it was very hard for me. If you take a look at my previous video about coming out of the dark, because I was in the dark for a very long time when it came to him being autistic, because I just couldn't believe it was my child being autistic. But honestly, I love it. It gives me patience. He's teaching me, because when it comes to communicating and he's not verbal, the number one thing that a lot of people fail to realize or pay attention to is body language. And the things that people do that doesn't have to communicate. Showing love in so many different other ways is very important to some people, and especially to autistic children. And their love is so genuine. They are so genuine. They're so happy, and you can do no wrong. He can be upset and mad and go in his room and close his door. He has an attitude just like a regular child. And he'll come back and he'll just give you a hug and a kiss like nothing happened. But your reaction to what he did will trigger a whole different issue. So you have to understand how to react when it comes to his behavior and getting upset. It's just like a man or a woman. When you guys are in an argument in relationships, and I hope you guys are, working through those things. If the man gets upset and you know he's upset, why would you do anything to trigger him to get more upset? And that causes issues within the relationship. So somebody has to be peaceful in the relationship. So with my situation, I have to understand the things that he's going through, so I keep the peace. So, and that's vice versa when it comes to relationships. It can be times that I'm frustrated and I'm crying, and he understands that. He comes and he hugs, and he just makes sure you're okay. And you wouldn't imagine this young man, nonverbal, understanding that he needs to comfort me, his mother, or comfort another baby that's crying. He actually would come over, pat you on the back, and give you a hug because he sees that. If he sees that, then he's going to do it and know it's okay. So most definitely challenge your children with autism. Um, don't be scared. At first, it may be scary, but don't be scared. There's challenges in life. We each go through challenges every day, and that's just human life. So most definitely challenge them. I am going to go into part two. Give you some information. Well, this is his um, t-shirt. There's different designs, and it is unspoken love. Basically, behind that is he's nonverbal. He shows you so much love. So, hope you got some valuable information out of this video, and most definitely want to understand that continue to mark the world with positive thoughts and positive actions. Thank you.